for school.
I do have to do that for school.
Yeah. And then they give you a bunch of numbers and dates, and you got to quickly organize them so you know what's what.
Yeah.
Or you have a zillion files telling you, you don't want to listen to the whole thing to go through. Arnold,
So we have a few people in here who I met from at piping school, and then just some friends from a long time ago, like Jason, former Blandford.
yep.
Jason, tell us where you live, so they know.
Uh, Actually, I'm out here, Greencastle, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania now, eh?
And Kim is in Hawaii. Glenn, where are
Yeah,
you?
Kim was,
Bruce, you may have heard it before. It's called Victoria, British Columbia.
oh, you live there? Oh, man.
You're welcome back anytime.
Apparently not right now, I don't think.
Sometime.
I don't think BC's wanting anyone to come near their little.
Is anyone else here in neck, or is it just me? You guys are?
And where?
I think it might be because Bruce's mic is picking you up and then replaying it back. I'm not sure.
Do you have two like cameras or something, or?
No, I
Why don't
have
you
the
play a
one
tune, Martha? Play a tune, and it'll be a nice little echo.
Wow. That's quite a number. So I guess, how do we fix that?
As long as we don't talk, we're good.
Does everyone on their screen at the top left, does it say turn off original sound? Right next to where you see the recording button in your top left, I think it should say turn off the original sound. That's important. Because if you have it on, it's not going to ever allow you to play the chanter and stuff. It thinks it picks it up like a background noise because it's a continuous sound. So it thinks it's a fan or something. And the computer gets really uptight with that. So we always do it this way. Jan Fabre, how's it going, girl? Just popped on.
Hey, Sweet. And I got it running. Back.
You see, it's echoing still.
All right. Okay, so Martha, did you hand out any of this stuff?
Yes.
So everyone has the music, and look at you guys printing it out.
Is there anyone who needs it? I can put it in the chat.
I have an artsy friend that does this for me now. Isn't it nice?
It's very
Looking all
nice.
posh.
Does anyone need
Used to
it?
be-
Martha, can you put it in the chat? Because mine's on my desk in my office, unfortunately.
Sure.
There's a one of these files, and then there's a manuscript file, and then I did a recording today of it as well because it was good practice for me to do that as well. Okay, so I'm looking, and most of you have done some pbrick, I think, right? You got to stop me and just interrupt if I don't see you in the grid line here going, or just do this. So I know to stop if you get a question. I don't not ask a question if I'm going and saying something that you can't figure out. Okay, because I'll blow right through a lot of this, and then we'll get onto it, and we'll have different people playing little parts of it, and we'll see how we make out. So this tune, first of all, there's two Battle of Auldearns. And while they're different, they're actually quite similar. So you need to know that this is Battle of Auldearn number 1. Okay? The biggest difference in this one is that it has the thumb variation. and the other tune doesn't. And then there's some other kind of things. But the twirler and crooner are really almost the same. So that's tricky. The theories apart. Don't you just don't play them both at the same time, I guess is my tip. If you learn one and then go and learn another one, because they're really too close together. So the tune falls, and I'll do it just as if I was teaching every other class. We always talk about the 7 types of tunes and the 7 types of construction. So the 7 types of tunes: battles, salutes, laments, marches, gatherings, descriptive, pastoral. The last 2 being very subjective to what you think. But the main 5 are there. So there's a battle tune. The good part of that in a title is the same as when you look at a piece of music and it says march or it says jig. It kind of gives you an idea of how it's going to go right off the bat. So you know with a battle, although as I say that, I'm kind of lying at the same time, because the ground in a lot of battle tunes can be quite sad, which totally makes sense. It's not always about the fight and the anger. There's that sad part that happens too in a battle. I find the ground here is reasonably sad. Now this tune actually has the ground in one construction style and the rest of the tune in another. So, and this is, I'm just going to tell you this quickly, but don't let this bog you down, especially in the ground. It can be a secondary style tune. If you read the notes on secondary, you'll see how that could work. And that's because the 3rd and 4th bar start line 2 and 3. So as a memory tip, you know that bar 3 and 4, which is usually called phrase C, starts line 2 and 3. That's the main part. Now, the other part is that if you look at the cadences, I'm making sure I do this right, they almost, well, there's a different one in line 2, but they all go from B, then C, then B, then C, then B, then C, then B. So whatever phrase you are, it's got almost a question and answer thing happening. So that could be a tip. I think the ground here is easiest, and I didn't want to put too much diagram and everything in here, to do it in 2-bar phrases. So if you think of the 2-bar phrases and you actually go pretty quick, then you get sort of the idea. So there's 3 phrases in the first line. There's kind of 3 phrases in line 2 and 2 phrases in line 3. Line 3, by the way, is the same as the last 4 bars of line 1. That's a definite one you want to store up top, because you don't have to learn line 3. You already know it once you've played line 1. Right, so you look at the beginning here. And the next one. And then the answer. So really fast you can sort of pick that there's 3 separate things. That's how I kind of go through them when I'm trying to remember them. And then we can look at line 2. I'll come back to this, but line 2, we have that same start, which is bar 3 and 4. Then there's this rolling bit. Da da dee, da da da, and da dee, and da dee. And then a finish, but just slightly different. Da da da, da dee, da da da, and B A. That B A always has a kind of a finishing sound to it. And then line 3. So let's go back now to the ground. Everyone is, I'm going to just say is, and you go no. So we've done those. We know what they are. He, her, ins. Just better to check just in case. So we're good with that. I think of all of this stuff percussively, the movements, so that I can try and get them to roll in an open way. So I'm thinking E, aha, da, dun, and I practice them that way. So I might play the line over one time, and I'll play a big open one, and then I'll play a tighter one. Okay, I didn't do the little squiggly line like your first music would have shown you in the Puke Society. I wrote it out so you see the C grip, and that's all it is. It's just a short C to a grip. Okay, then D to the C grip. And then I wrote the cadence out in full here, and I play them basically like this, where the eighth note that starts, the E is the shortest, to the B that's longer, to the A that's longest. And that's a style of cadence that occurs in a lot of tunes, and I've always just been told, and I've always called them short, longer, longest. You know, short, longer, and if you think of those notes, he, yo, one, it's a good way to practice 2 or 3 of them in a row when you're playing that bar. So you might get so that you're always consistent. I hear so many that go or and it's one finger. And you want to hear that EO. The other thing that we get as we start getting comfortable with it is this. And you can barely hear that. And when you're looking to hear depth in a tune, that really is missing at times. So I'm watching myself. I hope I didn't do it on the recording, but I was trying to think of those things to really he-o, and get on there. Questions so far? Good with that? Those technical things? Okay. E-hun, he-hun, da-da-da. Now, some people play an F with a grip, but I've always been sort of taught F grace note, G grace note. Not because that'll end up being a bigger F with this tiny tight grip noise. So and you want to make that, I'm going to say you will end up making it quick, but you want to make it as big as you can, even though it's quick. And you get that trill, da-ba-da, you know. Hopefully consistent with your movements. The good players, you'll hear that. They all have the same da-ba-dun, 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 da-ba-da. Just like you do that with your doublings in a march. You want them all to sort of be the same size, if you can. Moving on. It's an E-D from there, and that's the easiest movement of all because your right hand's not even used, right? And it just happens that it sounds on low A. And again, this thing, E-D, 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 E-D. Then the cadence to C, and this time we do use the full hand. E, da, da, because they don't make you do that because it's a guaranteed crossing noise. And who they are, I'm not sure, but I'm going to say they again. But E to C. Again, and I was thinking, maybe I was telling you this, Kim. All these cadences, you can play them as fast as you want. However, always make sure it's like you're jumping over a hurdle. So you get the height on this D grace note. It'll always sound good no matter how fast you play. So or and that's pretty quick, but you can still hear that hio sound, and that's what makes them nice. Then bar 5. Make sure my camera's right so that you know that this finger must stay down, just in case you forgot. And when the high G's right, which mine's going pretty good today, you'll hear that note sounds really cool to listen to, because it's a real great harmonic sound. And back to that E G, the same as from high A, E to D. So down to E, right hand's not doing anything, it's just down, up. Okay, so we get those 2 bars, we have 3 movements, and you want to try and make sure you get this da-da-lum, da-da-lum, da-da-lum. So you get right? Some people I know will open up that last C. Not such a big fan. Microscopically, yes, you hold the D if you want a little more, but we usually take our time and we build our rhythm and our structure of our playing of the tune based on the length of the themal notes, not making technical things really big. You hear this sometimes. I hate that. It just sounds like it's a miss to me, right? But you can go. You could actually get away with that more because you're lengthening the melody. And remember, all those movements are embellishments. They embellish the melody. So we don't want to monkey around with them too much. We want them to all be that same kind of rhythm. Same as like when we get to the torlueth, we want the torlueths to all be the same. Now the themal notes might change. So we have any questions on the technical side there? The only difference, line 2, it's just a B grip to C. You've done it in all the 4/4 marches till the cows come home. They all have that movement in there. So you've played a few of those in your time. And then we're done. And by the way, that's the only variation where the high G comes into play. It doesn't come through after that, which is what sort of makes the tune a little different and kind of clever, I think. Okay, so goes like this. Finger along once you sort of see along, and your volume's not on, so we're okay there. And then we'll get a couple of people having a go at it. So it goes like this. Ready? And he an odoro he odoro hilio an he an duri dili idiri hio an he yadara he yadaro he odoro hilio an. Okay, any questions on that? So one of the things I forgot to say is that when we play the beginning bar, E to the burl, that E is going to be starting, it's pronouncing the line, the phrase. The burl is also a quarter note, but let's call it a short quarter note. I don't want to say cut it or anything. It's not going to be so full because we don't want to have everything the exact same length. So we get the E being the longest to the A, to the E, A, C. So strong, medium, medium, strong as a rule of thumb there. And then a little bit of a breather, but not huge. And then you'll see, because it's a quarter note, and we get to the next bar, same thing. He, an, hyo, ran. That's a little longer because we've completed that phrase now. Okay, so I'll play that phrase, what I think is maybe not as good as it could be, and then I'll try and do a little more with it. So something like this. A little bit square. Now see if this, hopefully you hear the difference. You hear the difference in that? It's just by taking those pulse notes. We don't want to call them beats, but the pulse notes. One's a bit bigger, one's a little lower, bigger. The same as you would do playing Going Home or Amazing Grace. Sometimes you tend to milk a note here and there. So we have to do that here. Okay, let's look at line 2. Okay, here we go. Da-da, Hyo broi, ho broi, ian broi, ian droi, ho broi, ian broi, he adro, ilio. Now, small thing, 1, 2, 3, bar 4. Do you see bar 4 there? The EA, grip CE, he ambroi. See how the E and A is different the second time? Like they're not tied together? That's purely because I spent like 25 minutes trying to figure out how to tie them together and I couldn't get the program to do it. Even when I copied it, I took that chunk and I copied it, it separated them. I'm like, wow, so something was up. So it's not anything fancy or it's not a different style of writing, it's just the way it came out. But some people might go, hey, why is that different? So you can see it's still an 8th note and a dotted 8th. And that's just to kind of give you a he, an, broi, he, an, broi. And a lot of the books will have that C, the grip C, as a 16th, but we don't want to really play. You know, you can roll off the first one. So it's still short. It's kind of not as short as a 16th, maybe an 8th. That's where listening to the tune and learning to sing it is the most important part of this. How are we doing so far? Good, good, good. Okay, now, let's see. Line 3 you already know, so I'm going to skip that right now. And I'm just going to, let's see our time, okay. Let's go whip through that. Let's just start. I hope the grid doesn't change, but I'm going to just kind of work my way along and get people to play. Just a line, we'll go line 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and see if we can get that. So there's an idea of it, and I'll pick out a few small things, and then we'll get through these next variations that I'll show you. Okay, Martha, you're in the top left, actually, so if you can plug in, we'll hear line 1.
Okay. It is echoing, but it's not echoing on your end, Bruce?
I just muted mine, so hopefully that'll be better.
Okay.
Good. So in bar 3, you did the nice E to A to the F movement. In line 1, you just didn't have that timing quite right.
Okay.
So you got it right the second time, which is fine. And then when you hit bar 4, you're in he did he. You put the brakes on a bit there. Otherwise, that was really pretty good.
Too long on that, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
If anything, you could be shorter in the middle of the bars.
Okay.
You don't, because if you play those too long, ends up making it in little, it puts it in little two beat chunks. And we want to have at least a bar combined with a bar to make a phrase, not ta-ta, ta-ta, ta-ta. Okay? But that was really good.
Thank you.
Jeannie?
Yeah.
How about line 2?
Okay. Some of these movements I don't know how to play, but to play them.
Just do the best you can. Just do the best you can to get through it. Think.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I know you can play the grips and maybe the burl thing, and I get that the F stuff might be tough. So try and think of the rhythm and the timing of the melody you want to fit that into, so that you have the song of this right, and then you can insert that movement in as you get more comfortable with it.
Okay. Keep going. Don't make me keep going. Do you want me to keep going? Okay, here.
Sorry, yes, I'll give you the thumbs up because I was trying to mute so we didn't. Well, actually, I'll keep mine unmuted. We'll see if it echoes.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with what you played there, except for if someone was going to say something, they'll just say, you know what, it sounds like you've only seen this tune for 10 minutes. So you're just uncomfortable with it. That's all. You played it just fine. You got the E movement after the second try, so it's no problem. Don't get confident, overconfident, like, oh, it's the grip and that thing, I know it. And make sure you listen to those, because you'll feel like you're ripping them out, and sometimes we don't want to rip them out like we do in the Green Hills kind of thing. We want to hear that da-ba-dun, not brr. So just watch for that. You were fine there. And that's where, having to listen in the headphones of the recording when you're out walking or whatever, and just kind of sing along to it and wave your arms or do whatever to get that dee-dum, he-um, da-da, and you'll be just fine. No problem. Gendabar, line 3.
I missed it.
Apart from that low G thing, that was really good. Really
Well,
nice flow.
because I missed the first one.
The world's not going to end. The
Okay,
world's not going to end. Right? And that was one of them, Martha, on the C. You went, remember, they're all the same. Right? Again, and I do this often as one of my teaching things for a bazillion years is, there's your first note, E, 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 O, hun, dun. So I've been 25 years going, E, O, hun. It helps you, just a visual for that short, medium, long type thing. Just fine though. Melissa, line 1, please.
All right. Oh, I'm echoing. Can you hear the echo? Okay. That's
Okay, that's pretty decent, I think. Anyone hear anything on there that I've been talking about?
The last low G is a little.
Yes, just be strong and confident with that low G. It's not ba da, but it's that bip, what, da dum. So you're always hearing that. Really pounding it. So we get that thickness out of it, not big, not flippant, just in there. And then the other stuff was, again, bar 4, after you made that E D movement, don't wait quite so long to go on to the next grace note to E.
okay.
Right? It's almost like the beat pulse should be on the C, right? Dee, dan, go, dan. So that gets you ando. That and kind of steals its time a little bit from that E. And then when I think of it, the last 2 bars of pendulum, dee, ba, and I hold that little C a little longer for that bar so we don't get too many going the exact same, and that'll help it there. But that was a good plan. Jason, how about line 2?
Okay, give it a try. Oops. All right.
Oop.
I'm getting an echo or something. Sorry, I was getting an echo.
Oh, no B in there. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I'd like you to just start that again anyway.
Okay.
And when you hit that middle of the bar, just as I was saying, don't think of it as a giant quarter. So he and do
Right.
and then your breaks at the bar end, so you get that strong, medium, strong, and pause, and then the phrase end, okay? And it keeps the movement. That, to me, felt like it was starting to drag along. And I'll mute. Go ahead.
Oops, sorry. Having trouble seeing my music.
Okay, so overall, that was way better. Great tune flow in that. However, I have to inform you of one small thing. All these grips to C, from low A, there's no B in front. It's a low A grip to C. You're putting a Green Hills short B in front of it. You see where I'm at there? Well, you're playing. So you just read it incorrectly there.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was coming.
It's no problem. That's an easy fix. All right, but that was way better tune flow, I thought, that time. And a nice feel to it. And just a little bit of pace. It's not fast, it's just not slow. Okay, so let's just keep moving through here and we'll ask Glenn to have a crack at it. I guess be line 3. That's good. And as you get comfortable with that, you get a little more, some highs and lows in it. It's just a bit straight, but again, no problem playing that. Needs a little more forcefulness so that you can move through it without slowing down. So the longer notes actually feel like they're longer. But when people do that, they tend to make them long and the whole thing gets too long. So we need to make the shorter notes just slightly shorter to keep it within our movement of time. But good playing. That's some chanter, man. That's like a bassoon reed in there. Holy moly.
Bob Coley special.
That's a deep, deep thing. Okay, Kim. I guess we're on line.
Line what?
Sure. I don't even know if we are, but line 1. You can do it. Play it like you mean it.
Oops. Wait. Oh, am I echoing? Oh, okay. Where was
You're on mute, Bruce.
Damn, I'm not used to being second in command on the mute button. So when you stop worrying about what might go wrong, everything sounds like it's going right there. You're playing it just fine, and then you stop, and I can tell it's you're second guessing yourself right away.
It was echoing because I couldn't.
Oh, I wonder why.
Feeling a
It
feedback.
could be because we all have video on as well. That could be doing it. I'm not sure.
Sorry.
I've got enough technical problems today with filming them. I don't have the answer for this one. But keep it moving as you will. Watch those grips that they stay rhythmical. Da-ba-da-dun, da-ba-da-dun, and you'll be fine. Okay? Alex, how about line 2? Keep it rolling along.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Your chanter as well is fading in and out when you start playing, and it sounds like you don't have that original sound off button clicked.
Yeah, I didn't see that button anywhere.
Oh, see where it says turn off original sound? I think we can get
Yeah, I don't see it on
that.
mine.
Okay, you know what? I think that's in. And you go down to the audio settings. Advanced.
Oh, should I deselect automatically adjust microphone volume?
Yep.
Okay.
And when you're in there, if you check your audio settings, that little, the microphone has got that little thing beside it, whatever you want to call that, arrow. If you click onto that, you can go into your settings, and then you can go into, I'm going to go backwards so I show you, audio settings, and then advanced.
Okay.
And there's 3 things there. There's one that says suppress persistent background noise.
Oh, I see.
That should be disable.
Okay.
And suppress intermittent background noise. That should be disable. And then echo cancellation should be auto.
All right.
And that's where you get the best sound, where the program doesn't start thinking you're doing something weird, and just blowing a vacuum cleaner. You're going, and it tries to get rid of that so that it hears the voice.
Bruce Gandy explaining technology. 2020 just gets weirder and weirder.
You're on the boat there, pal. Yeah, me explaining this is not a good thing. I got a note from Doug Stronach here telling me what I'm doing wrong. Okay, Arnold, how about, what are we on? 3, number 3 for you, Arnold.
All right. Hold on.
That's the way I think it's supposed to be. Moving along, really good. Now, unfortunately, there's one little thing, and that's that the high G to E movement wasn't quite getting an E in front of it. It's all. So make sure that E in front of the grip movement is the same as the C in front of the grip. Just enough. Otherwise, but good. I just moved along that tiny bit more, which I really thought really good that way. Okay, Reese.
Alrighty. Is that line one?
Line 1.
I can't quite tilt it down. Easier go from the laptop, but. Uh,
Unmute. That's really quite good too. Just again, the F movement going up. Don't try and cram it in. If anything, make it too big and work your way into this instead of memorizing it with this quick noise, you know. Otherwise, it gets really quick and doesn't blend with the rest of it. And the same thing in the middle of the bar. Keep rolling through. Remember, so it's he hadan dabra abra ilioan. So you feel some of them are higher than other pulses. All right. Miss Fabre.
What line would you like?
I would like maybe line 2. Are you comfortable with that, or would you rather play 3?
Sure. Mute yourself, Bruce.
That's quite good. What do you think, Jen? Anything on that? Did you play something and go, maybe, or I could have done it better, or did you feel like that was good? It was quite good, by the way, before. It's not a trick question.
I felt like I was thinking about the flow until I got like into the second or third measure, and then I was like, oh yeah, now I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Yep, but the idea of not being too long in the middle of the bars, you demonstrated really well. Don't be any shorter than that. It was almost like oh yeah, just keep going. But then, which is better really than the big pause in the middle, especially in that bar, those 2 bars. That'll put anyone to sleep. But if you keep the whole got this sort of anticipation thing happening, and it's not, for better terms, playing ahead of the beat. It's just it brings on this anticipation, and then you hold it back later, and it puts something nice into the fact that we have a bunch of chunks of notes that are the same rhythm in a row. da-ba-dee, da-ba-dee, dum-ba-dee, dum-ba-dee. So we're gonna do something to bring some kind of light and shade or dynamic or whatever you want to call that in there. Light and shade's actually a really good term, I think, for this stuff. So that's good. And then you have no problem with the little movements. So that's excellent. Chris,
Yes. Sorry.
how about line 3? He's hiding behind the old spooky trees there.
Hey. Sure. Line 3.
Okay, so that's good. The first 2 bars really pretty good. Barreling through that second bar a bit, and then the same with the fourth. Playing it as you do dee, yabba dee, yabba is good. You want to put a pause on that C at the end of the 3rd bar, so we don't get the 3 in a row just falling down. So. All right, so you'll see it's balancing the rhythm, trying not to have the small groups of notes when there's 2 in a row the same. We need to do something to it. And then the embellishments we want to try and keep rhythmically balanced, percussively balanced. So watch, and the grips to C grips and things that you've done before, they'll tend to tighten up quicker than the Dari movement to F and the Idri movement from high A. You know, and you can get this. So some of it's really ripping and others open, so it takes it out. Sing a song. Now, let's move to the thumb variation. Does anyone have, I should ask first, any trouble reading how I've written this thumb variation? You understand we play all 3 lines, and then we come back and we play all 3 lines again with the D bracketed part, just so people know. Jen, you'll be fine. You've read enough Kilbury and Peter Society. So sometimes I try and write it out longhand. Sometimes I don't. Depends on where it is. This is very consistent because it's the same type of cadence. Now here, because we have a cadence in the middle of line 2, this is where the tune switches to primary, which is AAB, ABB, AB. Okay, and then the second A is A asterisk A1, A, call it something different. That it doesn't go to B, it goes to C because it's not conclusive and it leads into the final phrase. And you'll see that in the Torluith as well. It follows this pattern. So if you look at the cadences on the singling, all right, then 2 in line 3, because that extra phrase in the middle of line 2 is kind of an add-on phrase. So it kind of da-dee-da-dee-o-dan. Oh, we're not done. Da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-o-dan. So it gives it the C cadence in the middle of line 2 on bar 4. And when you play it, you'll feel like, right, that's not done. I got to do it again. And you'll hit that B, and it just sounds like you're finishing. Line 3, again, is the same as the last 4 bars of line 1. Easy peasy. All right. Now, there's lots of ways of playing this, and you'll need to. Well, today we're going to play it one way. I'm going to show you a couple. We'll play it one. It's your decision after. But people do that, where they will hold the D, and the high A goes straight to the cadence, as it's written. Others that I've heard, and this doesn't get favored too much, they really go up to the high A. Hum, dee, oh, dee, ha, bree, and yo, dun. I've heard a few people playing that, and I've heard them get unfavorable results because it sounds a bit pushy and it's hard to be consistent. But if you go somewhere in the middle where that dot cut is not quite so heavy, and the dot is almost there on the D, but the high A we want a little thicker on that third one. I wrote it as a 16th because it's written to blend with the doubling. Okay, now the other thing that I did here, and I couldn't decide what, I thought the easiest way is just explain it. When you see the third bar, because I wrote it all, I just wrote it in less bars as well. There's a grace note on the B. In the singling, those grace notes on the B, and on the second bar of line 2, in the second bar of line 3. Of course, they're in there, but when we start playing the doubling version, obviously you're not going to play the G grace note on B, because you're becoming from a high A doubling. Just so we're clear on, again, it's not really a typo, but it was either that or write the whole variation twice. And I don't want to do that last night. So just this softer. Right? So it's just somewhere kind of soft there. Now, if you look at the CAD Direct for a high A doubling, it's spelled D-I-L-I. And if you tried to sing that, it's not dilly, it's kind of a soft I, so dilly, like a dilly bar from the Dairy Queen. And you think of it as D-E-A-L-I. And that's what you want, dilly, 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 dilly. Not high A strike. This is not Piobaireachd playing. That's jig playing in slow motion. So try and get that. It's really the accents there. So you get that nice trilling sort of sound on your high A doublings. Okay, just a little forewarned. I'll play you line 1, and then we'll get a few people to go through. We'll not get everyone, otherwise we'll be here all night. But we'll do a few, and then we'll have some people playing the variation. But what's important is that we have this feeling in the singling, and then I'll go straight to line 1 again, but I'll play it in the doubling. Contrast is super important here. If we don't have contrast between the variation or the acts, you might think of it as, we have nothing. So here we go. Okay, and when I'm playing the doubling, all of it's built around the themal note. Sometimes I'll hold the fourth one if I feel like I'm getting too fast, just to thicken it. And when I hit the last two notes, I think of the second to last one longer, I play the last one longer, and then I play the first of the next variation longest. Almost like gearing down the car, and I say this at every workshop, every time. So you're kind of in fourth gear, you're bombing along through that doubling. Dum, dee da, dee da, dee da, dee da, dee da, dee da, dee dee, dee dum. So it's really the themal note, not going. Again, you hear 12 people in a row playing, that's awful to listen to, plain and simple. So it's got to be. So it's all getting around that melody. All right, who wants to play a line of that for me? Let's just let's go. We'll start at the bottom. Chris, give us line one.
Sorry.
Not too bad. Keep those high A's where they don't become three notes, and then hold that last high A a little longer before hitting the cadence. And you cut a da-dee and da, you just dove to it. All right, so just go easy on that. Let's see. Well, I'll just go backwards. Reese, give us a go on that.
Okay.
Pick a line.
Line two?
Sure.
Okay. And then do I play through the singling, and then do doubling, or?
Nope, just the singling right now.
All right. Oh, you're muted.
Pretty good. Basically like that. Again, it sounds like you're playing it right, but you're uncomfortable because you're still your eyes are telling you what to do a bit, and that's okay. Okay, Jen, can you try line 3 and then just get started into the doubling, just so we hear the contrast, and then we'll whip along.
Which Jen?
Line 3 of the singling. Oh,
Which
Jen Fabre.
Oh, line 3.
I'm playing Snakes and Ladders here.
Sure, line 3. Am I in the right place? Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Same thing when you hit that final high A, just a little more breath before firing onto the cadence. And kind of let it sort of cry out a bit. All right. Arnold, line 3, if you don't mind. And
Still in the singling, right?
yeah.
Right.
Really good, and good job moving into the doubling. So as you did that, I could hear you right away. You were almost ready to speed up. So know that you're able to do that, and then let the big notes be your balance. Da, dee, da, dum. You know, you hit that fourth one, you can swell it a little bit, and that'll help bring your sort of, let's call it beats per minute down, because it's easy to get rolling along and tumbling. So you did it right, and I could hear you speeding up, which I expected to hear. So that was good.
So you said, well, which one? On the fourth one? The B or the A?
The B.
Okay.
Yeah, not the high A, not the short note, always the themal note. Right? But if you get that, and then ask yourself if you're cutting off the high A's too quick as well. That's everyone, because it's easy to do that. Just start snapping it. So you're still in da dee da dum dee da da. We hit that, and then we slow it right down for the doubling. Okay, I'm going to get going here because we'll have to get going. So line 3, in that last bar, it's B and C and D. Just sing that note louder, and then B and A. And we come into the GS variation there. Okay, so we will be doing something like this. Right, standard sort of treatment of a GS variation, and this is always in groups of 3 before a cadence. What I got told, and I like it because it keeps me grounded, is that that third one again is bigger. Right, so you get 1 and 2 and 3 and he-o, 1 and 2 and 3 and e-o, and so that little low A before the cadence is, we'll call it short, but it's not chopped. So watch for this. And A-N, full A-N length, not A-N, A-N-D. That's also kind of a way of describing lengths. So ado, ade, an, e-o. So if you say the word an, e, it'll give you enough time. Okay. So for those of you who have played piobaireachd, you know you've got to be consistent with these. Dun, 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 dun. That variation, slightly slower and quite sharp in the pointing. Dun, da, dun, dee, dun, and you hit this. And I tell this story everywhere too, but it reminds me of seeing an orchestra. When you have this big thing going on, dun, 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 the little string section, dun, dee, oh, dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, and so if you think of it as 2 sort of separate sections weaved together, I got to see that one night and I thought, that's it, right there. It's exactly what happens. There's kind of in time, but it's this softer thing that goes on in it. And especially with tunes that aren't always this, you know. So it weaves it together, but you feel softer, lighter the cadence instead of this do 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 playing it smack it in time. Okay, Martha, let's have you try it up the top, and we'll work our way through here. Have you played these Gs before?
I'll try. See what happens.
G, E G, E G,
Yeah.
E G. And the third one, just think of it as being louder.
Okay.
So think you're blowing, like almost like you're blowing the chanter harder, which will make you make that note longer.
Okay.
That's an excellent job for I'm not sure, and I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Right? So the thing I would say to you there is, as you get comfortable with it, don't get overconfident with that variation, meaning it'll get you to get chippier and speeding it up. So remember, you're holding back on that first one because you want to be able to step on the gas a little bit for the doubling,
Okay.
because we're going to bring it back with the twirly with singling, push it forward for the doubling, and we have this whole thing of push it forward, bring it back. So pace is such a big thing here, which is why we're slower than we were in that high 8 variation doubling. And we're whipping through that, and then we hun, dun, do, dun, dee, dun, dee, oh. Okay, Jeannie, how about you try line 1 as well? We'll just stick with line 1 here.
Okay.
Those are good. Okay, that's actually pretty good what you got going there. Don't overdo that low A. Keep it kind of rolling. Dun 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 dee, oh. All right, so that da dee. That was the only thing. Otherwise, nice pointing, nice little feel there. All right, Jen, how about you do line 1 as well?
Okay.
What do you think?
Was I too slow?
Not too slow. Maybe ever so slightly even-y, square-y. Not getting hun, da 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 dee. Like you're reaching all the time.
Okay.
Right? So when you're practicing those, by the way, everyone, you're warming up, your pipes aren't quite ready, just play a line or two of that and make it up yourself. But do it, it's easiest if you do it in counts of 4. So do a couple, like 4 on low A, and then maybe do 4 on B, and then start adding it up and changing things around. So when I'm thinking about it and getting ready, I'm thinking, and just practice a few of those, because you're really thinking of, are we getting a crisp sound and the rhythm, because we don't want to overthink right now because the pipe's going to move and the F's still sharp, and the whole thing's not ready for you to concentrate on a P brook. or light music anyway. So it just kind of soothes you, and it helps your blowing, by the way, because you tend to blow it a little steadier. But it's a good way. And then when you get to this kind of a variation, it's autopilot. You're just looking at A, C, D, B, A, C, and you start seeing, and you know all the things to do, like reading a D throw. You don't have to read a D throw anymore. You look at that and go, oh yeah, that's that thing that goes up to D. So when you start, work on that, and even practice some, which I do, so I say do it, but practice a few, and then all of a sudden switch gears. So you might get. That style of a GS. This is a little bit different in that we have cadences and then a straightforward version, which is, again, a little different in GS playing, but not totally uncommon. Okay, Melissa, let's have you have a crack at that.
Okay, line 1.
Yes.
All right.
Three big stars in the lake for that one for me. Okay, now, Jason, can you play line 3 and start the beginning of line 1 doubling?
All right. Let's start.
So I just got a little bit square there. So dum dum da dum dee dum da. Feel like you're just getting people into your boat and going for it. All right, Glenn, let's have you do the same thing.
Line 3 and then into the doubling, right? Oh, sorry. Oh.
That's good. That's a nice movement. I like that. Okay, Kim, you try it, and we'll get Alex trying it, and we're going to move right through.
Last line.
Yep, into the doubling.
Oops. Sorry, went off.
Well, we were looking for the feeling, so you were all right. You just went to C instead of B, and that was okay. All right, but that's the right idea, right? So. Got it, Alex? Because you're next.
All right.
That's good. Now, the way you picked up your tempo there was pretty good. The whole thing just got shifted here. That was weird. The grid's different. So, when you hit the doubling, we're playing a singling pointed like this, like a real high dot and cut. The doubling's maybe like this. Versus bolt da 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 dee dee da da, not that da ba da ba dee dun dun da dun dee dun da. The singing shun dun da dun dee, where it's really pointed. This is not quite as pointed. So. Okay, that's the difference. Now, when we finish that, we're going to blow the rest of it. You know how it's going to go. Except we have to play these Torluas and we have to play Krinluas. But it's the same feel right through here, holding the third femal note slightly. You know, we're going to hit the doubling at a fair pace. We're going to bring it back for the Torlua singling. And we want, so Torlua out. Torlua out, not Torlua out. We don't want the big long low A's at the end of the Torluas. So even if your Torluas are on the big side, snap that off that E grace note to the next note, much like the singling of the Gs. Dun da, dun dee, not dun da, dun dee. So the singling of the Gs. Almost really the same thing, and there with pace is what's going to help you out. Again, we're looking at da-ba-dun dun, da-ba-dun dun in. No matter how long we're going to be, but out. So Torlua out is what's important. So we get that springing effect. So line 3. And I'll give you what's important here. I'll try and play right through. Now, just one line. And don't miss those. And the Mac as well, which I play in this and usually gets played because it fits all the right notes and it's a battle tune and it's kind of a good crowning variation. So,
I have a question.
good. Fire on.
So, understood your comments about the cost symmetry between the GS and the Torlua singling and all that with regard to the note after the Torlua, which you already explained. The one question I had was as you're approaching the cadence in the Torlua singling, do you hold the D before that, in the first bar, for example, the D before that Torlua, or would you just give a little more emphasis on the after the Torlua?
I definitely hold the D. It's all about the theme note. So same as in the GS variation, anta di. Again, think of it louder. So if I'm walking down the street or in my room, I'm thinking ba-dum da, ba-dum dee, ba-dum hee. I kind of get dee.
Okay. That there's still an and after the Torlua? Yes or no?
Not really. You're off that low A. The length is on the D.
Okay, no and. Only on the D. Got it.
Well, I should paraphrase that. Yeah, you're coming fairly quick to the next themal note, and then that one maybe not quite as quick. But I don't want to say hold, so we don't do. Because that sounds like a break.
Yeah.
So we get.
So maybe half.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enough to make it clean. And hopefully in the audio recording you'll hear that.
Cool. Thank you.
You can go up quick, which is fine, but you want to be careful after holding the D that you don't get quicker than you want to be, which I think is the fault. I think I'm not saying hold it so much. I'm saying beware of being too quick, because I hear this as well when I'm listening. And when you do that, you can clip the end of your Torlua and not finish it. So make sure you finish the Torlua. Abadan E, but without taking all day on it. It's tricky, but it's subtle, and it's what makes this stuff really good in the end. Okay, and then we just kind of go more on this kind of a plane for the doubling. And then as you get comfortable, if you can play that all the same, then you can actually hold a note here and there and stretch it out a bit and let it feel for you. But you want to kind of play, I don't want to say it boringly square, but I want to be able to play it boringly square because you're in control. Then if you want to hold on a note, then you can. But you need to be in control of that sort of pace that you're playing at, so you can reach and then come back to that pace you want to be at. Okay. What about the Crooner? Any questions on that? It's going to follow a lot of the same pattern. I want to think that if I listen back to it, the E is going to be ever so slightly bigger than those low A's and the Torluas, because the Torlua snaps away, but the E, it's not quite as sharp And when you hear people playing that, it sounds like we're not finishing the movement. So, but it's not in perfect waltz time either, which Piobaireachd is in 6/8 time, and you get. But we surge off it a little bit, so we don't play it in perfect waltz time. When I'm playing in standard tunes like this, the pulse, for me, I'm going to lie here and say I play them in 6/8 time, but yet I don't. But the third pulse, when I'm doing the exercise, is always the E grace note of the Cronluith. So I can play it like this. It's like a. So that E grace note's coming in the third pulse of my head. So I might get dum da dee da dee much like a 6/8 that you're going to put a little more swing into it, and I might get. And the reason I do that is, one, it keeps it balanced, but I have always there. So when I get something like the doubling of this exercise and I'm playing and I'm comfortable, I can think of the rhythm and kind of roll it out that way. But if it's cold, I can also think of playing it bigger. Or if I'm nervous, I tell myself, open it up. And I think, I come out at the end of the Cronluith. It's not usually that open when I'm on the pipes and nervous, but I feel like it's that open because I'm trying to avoid going. Think, well, I'm feeling good, and it's just mush. But I know that. Which is sort of the Cronluith exercise I've done since I was 8 years old when Jamie Troy gave it to me, and it works. But it's 1, 2, a 3, and E. Whatever the size is on either side, it's going to be the same. So. The melody didn't change. It's just the size of the movement to fit in. Okay. Any questions? The Cronluith Mac, by the way, I should touch on that. I think of that, once I started thinking about that, you want to play an open movement, the nice grip, and I just really think of this silly word da-ba-da, because it sounds like da-ba-da, and I go da-ba-dee, and I think right hand, left hand, da-da-dun, 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 da-ba-dun, da-ba-dun, da-ba-dee, da-ba-dun, da-ba-dee, and so I'm thinking of it. Like almost like how a GDE would sound, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. But it's really and an open EJ. So again, because I'm sort of analytical about it, I often play a tune. This tune, I might warm up with it, and I will play the first line with just the grip and the E grace note. The next line, I would only play the G grace note with the open E G, and the third line, I might play both of them together. So I might get. Because I don't want it to become some autopilot movement that tightens up. And next time, so I'm thinking diddle and I try to think diddle and left, right hand, left hand. And that's kind of been how I've done it all my life to get through that stuff. Oh, let's see. Anything else? More questions? Okay, so here's the thing I'm going to put in. Oops, for everyone. Here's my sales pitch. Is that for 4 years now I've been writing a book about this, and it's out on ebook, and people are taking pre-orders. I'm taking pre-orders now. Long story, but when I thought I finished it a week and a half ago, I actually did. However, because of COVID, there's a bit of a pecking order line to get your book into the publishing unit, and then when it gets to the printer, there's a whole lot of writers now. Much like there are a lot of renovators and a lot of gardeners and cooks, and everybody's doing all this stuff. So what I thought was going to be almost ready today or maybe next week is still another 4 weeks out, probably 3 to 4 weeks or something. Who knows how much it'll delay me, because they've got that much back order, and their shift staff is shrunk like everywhere else, because you can't have that many people working that close together, and they have to do a tremendous amount of cleaning. All stuff you'll be quite familiar with, I'm sure, Jen. How the production doesn't quite go as fast as it used to a little while ago. So that's where it is. It's on there. That's sort of the article for it. That shows the ebook if you're really chomping at the bit and can't wait. Or it can be all salesy here, right?
I already sent them the letter, the performance book letter.
Oh, cool.
I advertised for you.
Thank you, because it's all in here, and here's where it's actually listed on my site as well. So since everyone's on, you can highlight those two sites and have a peek or not. Either or is fine. And that's all I got. If you have questions on this tune, let me know. I mean, I could go and have you playing it and pick it apart.
Can we all smile into the camera real quick?
Oh, let me get rid of my chat box here. And sure.
Okay, everyone look into the camera. Smile. Thanks. Thank you so much, Bruce.
Excellent. Welcome. A lot of fun. And then, like I say, if you have trouble with any of the links or the paperwork, or you find mistakes, let me know. I'll fix them up. It'd be pretty rare if something's written not incorrectly here. I don't usually get first shot at them. And the manuscript, there's probably a grace note missing or something, or I made a big honking mistake. I did listen back to the audio, and I thought I did it right, but who knows?
Did everyone get the handouts I sent? The audio as well? Yeah, cool.
Good.
Any questions? Any comments?
Martha, how do we pay you? Or who do we, or Bruce, how do we pay you?
I'll email you.
You just deal with Martha. So thanks, everyone. That was fun. Thanks for coming on. If you have any questions, fine. If you think the book sucks, well, I say that first and say, go ahead and write in. I might not print it, but it'll be good. And if you like it and you get something nice to say, that's even better. I don't know how you advertise for that stuff. What they say. I need some people to what they say on it. So,
I mean, I work for CBS Marketing, and they're just taking like Twitter people now and like putting them up there and like, so and so hashtag likes this. You know, it's like that's on national television.
I know that's like almost over my. I screw up. I can't do Instagram right. You know. Apparently, I can't do my videos right either. So we'll figure that. We'll figure that out. Anyway, I'll be in touch with some of you again soon, and
Thanks.
have a great night.
Hey, Bruce.
Will you stay on?
Oh, Glenn here. Bruce, just before you go, I have one completely unrelated question for you, but just once we're officially done with the session here.
Oh yeah, we're done. I guess you could turn off the recording.